What's up, y'all? This is Beyond Manifestors, where we dive deep into the depths of our souls. I'm Ro, a psychic medium life guide that helps those that feel like they are struggling in life and that they are beyond manifestors. And this is my Kundalini awakening story. Come on in and get comfortable. Y'all already know. Grab your favorite drink. Let's get started. So, remember where we left off in my awakening video? I was helping kids and doing some really good work thanks to the reactivation of my spiritual powers. I rose to the top quickly. Former staff are still in disbelief to some of the things I was able to accomplish. I was too, to a certain extent, but I understand why. I was doing things that no mere human could do. If I was to say both hemispheres of my brain were working at the same time, that would be an understatement. They put me on a pedestal that honestly, I was never comfortable with. But I would try to explain damn near the unexplainable. I just wanted others to believe and know that they could do it too. Most found that weird, but a few appreciated it, even if I sounded crazy. That job touched my heart. I wasn't in it just for the money, but thank God over time that increased too. I did it because I actually enjoyed helping others and felt that this was the next step in my evolution. I was consciously sometimes, but unconsciously most time, using my power and my newfound abilities. I was learning a lot now that I look back at it in retrospect. How and why could I be so easily calm in the midst of chaos? The type of shit that would make others quit, cry, or explode. I started to realize how powerful my presence was. Staff used to call me things like the kid whisperer, the ghost whisperer, and little did they know, man, I was leaving my body, picking up on energy, and I could see, I knew the truth behind the words that they were actually speaking. I would have conversation with kids and staff prior to them happening. Then they would happen. I went from part-time to full-time quickly. I was supposed to be working a job as well as building a business that would help others around the world. But I began to increase in hours as the demands and needs of the job increased. I began to slowly pull away from my spiritual practices and began not to be loyal to my quiet time and substituted with being loyal only to managing others' behaviors. My soul began to whisper to me, hey, Ro, you know this is temporary. Hey, Ro, get back on track. I chose to override my soul and I continued to give my power away. It wasn't what I was doing, it was how I was doing it. Not realizing certain aspects of my being and psychic doors that were unlocked that required a higher level of self-care. Over time, when I would become too imbalanced, something would happen where I would get injured or hurt, like playing sports. It had to be crippling because I was the tough guy, and I fought through everything, honestly. This was my higher self's way of slowing me down and putting me back on track. This happened a few times, but every time I went back, I turned it up a notch, doing more and more instead of being. I was in a vicious cycle of mental, physical, emotional, and psychic abuse. I was looping again and I didn't even know it. This time it was a better, more sophisticated loop. First at work, then at home, then in life. I was helping everybody that I could in all areas of my life, but I wasn't being fed where I needed it most. Thankfully, I had the foundation that I had. And I truly believe once you awaken, you'll always be awake, regardless of whatever seems to cover it up. I believe this was a lesson to deepen me and to understand myself more. During this process, my mom passed away, I met my twin flame, and my dad died. My twin flame relationship and other factors was the catalyst to my Kundalini awakening. The spirit kept whispering to me until it yelled at me. And if I could be honest, I took a position that I knew I didn't want to. But I had outgrown my previous role. The truth was, I just outgrew the job and the company no longer served me and my soul's mission. I was asked several times and then I bit the bait. Somehow I convinced myself that it would be different. I did some good, but I was faced with every opposition that quickened in the eating away at my spirit. Deep in my core, I knew it didn't resonate anymore. I couldn't at this point act like it did. I'm not good at wearing masks, playing politics, or being fake even in my worst loops. So I demoted myself. I did everything for the right reasons, but it was no longer in alignment. Nothing felt right anymore. Then one day at work, it happened. As I began to cry, the energy shot up my spine so fast and it felt like fire. It was so hot. It felt like 1,000 ants or snakes were crawling in my brain. I was fully conscious during this process. It was so disorienting. I didn't know what the hell was going on at the time. I didn't know if I was crazy, if I was losing my mind, or what. Honestly, it was a shock to me. I had read a little bit about Kundalini years prior, but I wasn't actively trying to raise it at that point in time in my life. To those of you who's had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening, you know what I mean. And I understand what you had to go through and been through. And I understand that it can be a tough process to get through. I'll share my Kundalini symptoms and what I did to get through it in another video. The Kundalini rising was my spirit saying that this is enough, no more. It was one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make. I wasn't gonna be able to do it no more. Not because a part of me still didn't want to, it's just I couldn't. So I decided to leave. My ego didn't like it though, but my spirit was now back in control. I don't like quitting anything I start, and I didn't want to abandon them, but I was already abandoning myself for so long. My soul began to unravel everything that didn't belong and began to pull me deeper into itself. It was something that I couldn't fight, resist, or ego myself out of. It was scary yet freeing at the same time. Life can be challenging when you are understood by others, but we don't have to do it alone. Click the link in my bio and give me a call. I'll see you on the other side. To see how my twin flame shook shit up and how I discovered more of my abilities, watch this video next.